and I graduated during the lockdowns. So this is essentially going to be all of the work that I did throughout the degree. And I wanted to highlight all of it because when I'm working on an individual piece, more so with paintings actually, so I'll show you the painting. I don't tend to go into it with a plan as such. It tends to be more like I'll lay down one mark and then respond to that, and again and again and again until I have something which feels finished. And I realized that I tend to do the same thing on a more macro scale with projects going from one to the next. So these paintings, the idea was I was thinking about color, and it came from I was basing the color palettes on the sky. So they're all kind of abstract landscapes. They're all based on the sun, sorry. Because I noticed that the sun is a common metaphor for happiness in song lyrics. And so the idea there was to create almost the painting equivalent of, or the color equivalent of a positive affirmation. Sort of went almost like beaches in these ones. And the reason I went to there in this project of abstract paintings is before that I was doing text-based work, literally with positive affirmations. Click through those. And then afterwards, what I led into is essentially, I was doing these paintings in 2020. I had just moved home and didn't have a studio anymore. I was painting in my family's shed. You can see that here is sort of in the garden. That's the background of the shed there. And then it got to winter, so I couldn't do the paintings anymore. So that's when I put a stop in the paintings and moved on to virtual photography, which is I was doing landscapes again. So I moved from the abstract landscapes into virtual landscapes. And the virtual photography is essentially in a video game, you use the video game's inbuilt photo mode, or you just remove the user interface, the heads-up display, to get rid of health bars and that, and you take a screenshot, which acts like a photo within that space. And then I sort of moved more into cityscapes after that. But yeah, so it went from, most recently was the cityscapes, and then before that was these more like, oh yeah, important bit of information I missed was the reason I started doing this was in part because I was spending a lot of time in these games anyway, especially like this one is Assassin's Creed Origins. And when I looked at these views, it was giving me little hits of serotonin. So that sort of made that link for me. Yeah, so then before that was these paintings, and before that was the affirmations. So it quite a lot is about mental health. And also doing the text stuff was one of the first times I really, like, similar to Sarah, and again, like, I imagine there's a lot that relates to class just from being a working class artist that makes stuff. So these were kind of the first time where I was trying to be more active in it. And the way I did that was I was using graffiti squeezer pens, the ones that tags get done with. Specifically for these, it was like a ballpoint nib, like a 3mm one though. So that was that. And then prior to that, I was doing, so I did these with homemade graffiti squeezer markers. I was trying to get into the spirit of it with that, but they were falling apart when I was painting with them. So that's why I then moved into using ones that I just bought from the shop. So yeah, you'll notice these ones are kind of less affirmational. They're a bit darker, more cathartic. But when I was at uni, I was really struggling with my mental health again. I have done before, but I guess just being away from home. So this one is of me and a friend who I also found out that it's based on a picture of me and a friend from when we were younger. And I'd found out that he was struggling with his mental health at the time. So I wanted to, I guess I made that link there. And I made it to give to him, although I haven't given it to him yet because I was a bit wary at the time of giving him something kind of dark that I don't know if that might affect his mood negatively. But the idea was to give it to him, and I still plan to. And then from there, I was thinking more about doing stuff based on photos of friends, which is these line drawings. I did a series of these, and that got me thinking about class. And then that's how I went into using. Well, I was doing the squeezer markers anyway, but yeah, it sort of segues from one into the other. So that is an introduction to my practice.